hearts are broken. Our hearts are devastated for the 58 lives that were taken, Lord. Our hearts are devastated for the 515 plus that are in hospital beds or that are wounded. There's no words that we can say except to cry out to God. And we know that you love this city. We know that you love these people. It does not represent the heart of Las Vegas. We love Las Vegas. I believe that people are standing up today because churches are standing up. Men and women are standing up from all different backgrounds, and they're saying, God, please jump in here.
Just one of the prayer vigils going on tonight across Las Vegas and frankly across the country. There is a state of emergency here tonight in Clark County, Nevada. In the last hour, the governor of Nevada has declared a statewide state of emergency as well, and a public health and medical disaster for the state. Now, what may be implicated in the public health and medical disaster is that the state of Nevada has a doctor shortage. And this declaration from the governor will allow doctors in good standing from other states to pitch in and help care for the mass casualties, for the hundreds and hundreds of people who were injured in this mass shooting. We're expecting another briefing from officials at 10 p.m. Eastern, which will be 7 p.m. local time here in Las Vegas. This, of course, is a national tragedy. It's the worst mass shooting in American history. It's a national story. Some of the most important reporting, as always, comes from the local reporters who know this place better than anybody. And here in Las Vegas, that's Jon Ralston, who's the editor of the Nevada Independent and my friend from a long standing. It's nice to see you, John.
Thank you.
Sorry about the circumstances.
Yes, unfortunately.
Let me just ask you, obviously nobody's covered anything quite like this before because nothing like this has ever happened anywhere in America. What do you make of the response in terms of the police, the SWAT teams, the FBI, the response on the ground, the medical response, the overall, the initial shock and how it was dealt with in the first instance?
You know, I've talked to a lot of people about that, Rachel, including the chairman of the Clark County Commission, and Clark County oversees the Strip. And he told me when he got there at around midnight that he watched it unfold, and he talked to law enforcement who told him that if these first responders had not reacted the way they did, there were off-duty California law enforcement there too. There were a lot of people, hundreds more people would have been killed. Wow. And think about the situation. I don't think people talk about, oh, there's outdoor concerts all the time. They're not outdoor concerts in an enclosed area around these really tall buildings. There's nowhere to hide. And so you had people essentially just sitting ducks for this guy on the 32nd floor, and you had these first responders having to come in and find some safe haven when there was none, do triage for these folks out there. Everybody that my reporters have talked to, my reporters have been all over talking to people, have talked about the remarkable first response by the first responders and how many lives are probably saved because of that. That
absolutely matches what we're hearing as well. I want to absolutely underscore that. And then the other part of it that I find remarkable, just in terms of this city getting it right in the face of terrible and unforeseen circumstances, is getting the crisis line set up for family members, for people to find their loved ones, getting blood drives set up to try to get blood and plasma donated with those hundreds of people in the hospital, also getting an evacuation center set up so that people who are here from all over, 22,000 people at that concert last night when the shooting started, that people had a place to go at that central convention center in order to get respite, in order to get phone chargers, in order to get in touch with people, in order for people to find them. I mean, it just seems like of all of the things that, you know, of all of the worst of humanity that this represents, this was a response that heartens you in terms of both our capacity and our compassion.
I think you're absolutely right. And you and I have covered politics for a long time. I'm a lot older than you, so I've done it even longer than you. You become cynical, and I'm cynical about things. But you think about how people think of Las Vegas. It's easy to mock Las Vegas. It's easy to caricature Las Vegas. It's not a real city. People don't really live in houses. They live in these hotels. We're an alien world. But look at how the people of Las Vegas have responded to this. You mentioned all the blood drives that are going on. They're turning away people because they're running out of donation kits at some places. We are reporting. The chairman of the Clark County Commission and the sheriff set up a GoFundMe that they hope to get $1 million for. It's now over $2 million people have donated to help the families here. So, I mean, it sounds cliche. It sounds not like it shouldn't be coming from a hardened political reporter, but people really rose to the occasion. They really showed the heart and soul that is outside of the Las Vegas Strip and what really makes this town run.
One last question for you, John, and it's a policy question, really. I was talking at the outset about the number of gun shows here, that people, I think, from outside gun culture and certainly from outside Vegas and Vegas gun culture, you think like, oh, there's a gun show. That means there's like a time of the year when there's a gun show, and maybe that was going on around now. Gun shows are constant, and shooting ranges are constant. There's places that you can go around here and shoot fully automatic machine guns. I've done it. The policy decision that has been made in Nevada about background checks for people buying guns has been not only interesting in terms of people fighting about it and deciding what to do, but the implementation of that has been a really interesting thing.
You know, Nevada there's the gun culture here is prevalent, not just in rural Nevada, but as you mentioned, even here in the urban areas. So if you're a Republican, you look like you're genuflecting to the NRA, you look like you're going to support that. The governor came out against the background checks initiative. He's a moderate guy. Yeah. But the Attorney General, after it passed, and it passed very narrowly, Rachel, only because of the urban areas. It got crushed in rural Nevada. There was a background checks initiative on the ballot in 2016, passed by 1 percentage point. But then the FBI raised some issues about implementation, and the Attorney General has refused to enforce it. It's become a big political issue.
So it's on the books, but it's not in effect.
It's on the books. It has essentially not been enforced, which has caused, of course, a lot of divisions. And the Attorney General of the state is about to get into the governor's race, and this will be a major issue in that race. You can't get away from politics and something like that. And as Pete Williams mentioned, you don't know everything about how this guy got his guns. You don't know what his motivations are. But certainly the fact that Nevada had passed a background checks law and yet it hasn't been implemented, it's going to be talked about.
It's going to be talked about, and it's emblematic of the limitations of our ability to function as a democracy and as a policy-making society.
The will of the people pass something,
as guns is involved. Yeah, Jon Ralston from the Nevada Independent. It's great to see you, my friend. Thanks. Sorry about the circumstances.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.